viewers all over the world, please subscribe and comment on this channel. Now, as you can see, Tinubu government have via US government Donald Trump and asked appeal court to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death sentence. What do you have to take over it?
That was, it looks like unstoppable end of Nigeria has finally come, even though the appeal court have not actually, decided on Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. But what we are hearing, there was a cross appeal that the position of the federal government is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu escaped death sentence, and that life imprisonment, and the original plan was to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death, with immediate effect. That was just a testing ground, to see what people will actually react. But the reality now is that in the course of trying to establish an appeal process, the lawyers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, has concluded the process and filed an appeal, waiting for the federal government to come up with their own position so that a date will be picked for proper, court processes and other that will definitely lead to appeal court judgment. This is to inform you too that the same appeal court we are talking about today has some time ago discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, we are hearing that the cross appeal of the federal government is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be sentenced to death. So, it is very clear that Nigeria does not want a peaceful end, that the end of Nigeria has become unstoppable. If by the position of the United States government currently now, from the breaking news we are hearing now, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu had decided to dare the United States Congress. I remember before now, there was a motion moved by James John, a U.S. Congress, a powerful U.S. Congress figure, congressman, mandating the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to engage the federal government and release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They don't know that the U.S. government and the Israeli government have already taken decision about Nigeria. Whatever you are seeing they are trying to do is to let the world know that by the time there will be final decision on Nigeria, nobody will stand up and challenge the decision of these powerful nations around the world. People doesn't know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been daring the entire Biafran nation, manipulating the process, engaging in Islamic activities, trying in one way or the other to gradually implement the Islamization agenda. Not minding that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has continued to go viral in recent days over his position in the past and what he represents in the past. The Islamic government, according to the Canadian court, is insisting that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be tried based on Sharia law. Now that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come out to dare the United States government, Donald Trump, telling him that you cannot do anything, that I have a decision to make, even though the United Nations on arbitrary committee of human rights have given a mandate on that, the Nigerian government disregarded it. Here you have given a mandate on that, the Nigerian government disregarded it. They have also asked the federal government not to continue with the court process because it violates the Commonwealth rules and international law that governs treaties on the issue of human rights and illegal extradition. Nigerian government has failed in that regard. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who claims that he is now Buhari incarnate, representing the caliphate in Aso Rock, believing that he is not far from the Sokoto's decision to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has exposed the reality on ground and who has become a celebrity and a reference point today must be sentenced to death. James Omotosho, who happens to be the man who they normally use to do the bidding of the federal government without any remorse. You can watch all his judgments ab initio till date. You know, James Omotosho has been doing the hardest man's job, the young man's job, can do anything in that regard. Now that the matter has gone to appeal, well, the appeal court has have not decided finally on the matter, but the federal government position under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who happens to be a Southerner, whose Yoruba nation or Yoruba tribe has adopted Sharia, are even calling for Sharia in their own region, demanding that they share the same understanding, they share the same culture, they share the same tradition with Muslims and Islam, and that anybody that is against Sharia, and that's why people are saying that there's no mention of Christianity in the Nigerian Constitution. There's not even mention of secularity in the Nigerian Constitution. What we have in Nigerian Constitution is Muslim Sharia related rules and regulation. Constitution, that's what you have. And that is the constitution they are using to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu based on repeat law. I do not know how he's definitely going to handle this, because as I'm talking to you, I can tell you very clearly that the Australian government, Brazilian government, US government has already signed a recognition charter, Biafra recognition charter. I repeat, Austria, Brazil, US Congress have already signed Biafra recognition charter. Forget whether they are coming directly or indirectly. We cannot continue to live with people who has adopted Sharia, who have adopted Islam, to impose it on other tribe, where the government, and that's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wants. That we are talking about Tinubu, we are talking about Tinubu, that Tinubu is part of the Islamization agenda. And that is why he's silent. They went ahead and brought Buhari. And you can see that was where the process, it was part of the process, you know, that went contravened the international law, invaded another, even though the Kenyan government had said that what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is wrong. Nigerian government is insisting that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must die by court judgment. Well, I think it's a clear declaration that Nigeria is heading towards unstoppable end. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu carry out that appeal court judgment within 90 days on repeat law, a law that does not exist. What is the difference between the appeal court today and the appeal court that discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? The consequences of what we are seeing today, if Parliament go ahead to implement it under international pressure, under international exposure, under international reaction, that government should do away with the judgment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, then I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu should also be ready to face the consequences that will come from the international community over the illegality and the illegal pronouncement and judgment on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the fact. Very clear. Any attempt, and if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by omission or by commission, this unfortunate judiciary, commercialized judiciary, who refuse to play according to the rules, but according to the agenda to institutionalize jihad, encourage Islamization through the judiciary, will backfire. The global world is open to scrutiny, background check of the activities of the federal government before now. This breaking news is definitely going to shock Aso Rock, because like I told you, what is coming to Nigeria is a bigger force than the entire Nigeria. What is going to happen to Nigeria is going to shock Aso Rock. Federal government has continued to dare the unity and the fundamental human right for self-determination. And I want to say it very clearly that Mike Arnold, Ted Cruz, Raleigh Moore should jettison anything that will cohabit Christians with Muslims in Nigeria, especially those who are advocating, championing jihad in Nigeria. As we are doing away with these terrorists in America, the Biafrans does not want to cohabit with Northerners anymore, politically, economically, and otherwise. The injustice system, if not cut short at this moment, might trigger a heavy reaction that will cripple the entire Tinubu race. Enough of this rubbish. Today, the media will not come and deny it. You can see a global crackdown on IPOB members using BBC documentary, using British government, using the royal family to launch an anti-Biafra campaign all over the world. Why Nigeria is being tied under jihad and Islamization. We must not be one, and there's nothing that will make us to be one in Nigeria. As simple as that. The continuity of one Nigeria will question the social contract that every region share with international community. And therefore, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should rethink the plan to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, to death. I repeat, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should rethink the plan of sentencing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death using Sharia court in our judiciary. There will be resistance in that regard. Thank you.